going on? I don't think any anchor on this network has been going around saying, "Is she black?"
Y'all have never had a.
We have had. Look, I'm sure we have had. You know,
we say things like, "Do you think Donald Trump is a fascist?" Like I think we kind of got enough evidence to know that answer.
I'm not a pundit. I'm not interested.
Hello, everybody. Things get a little heated here with CNN, Anderson Cooper, and Charlemagne the God, and Angela Rye. They talk about race and Trump's fascism. Let's get right into it.
Works having that conversation. Like when somebody says, when somebody questions Kamala Harris's blackness or is she a DEI hire, y'all will have roundtable discussions about that, asking that question. How come you're not having roundtable discussions asking, is Donald Trump a fascist? Actually, not even asking it, stating it. I mean, when you look at the things that he's talking about doing, jailing journalists, jailing his political opponents, turning the military on American citizens. The guy said he wanted to terminate the Constitution to overthrow the results of an election. How come that is not the topic of discussion on networks like CNN every day?
But do you think that, I mean, you were raising this with Kamala Harris about...
Guys, and that's just true, right? There was a good 2 or 3 weeks that they spent debunking or talking about if Kamala Harris used her race as a way to move up in the political ladder, right? And I saw the panels about this. Well, she used to say she was Indian, and this newspaper said that she was Indian and Asian. She's both. Idiots.
Her own authenticity, about her own willingness to just, you know, say things that aren't crafted. Do you think she needs to do more of that? You know, Trump's going to go. Trump's going to go. Apparently, Trump's going on. Is going to tape a thing with Joe Rogan. Do you think she should do that?
I think that she should keep calling Donald Trump a fascist. And I think that Americans need to keep looking at the rhetoric of Donald Trump, because I don't know why we're even thinking about electing somebody who's talking about putting people in camps. I don't know why why we want to elect somebody who's talking about mass deportation. I don't know why we're having this conversation about somebody who wants to terminate the Constitution to overthrow the results of an election. Aren't we supposed to be a patriotic country?
A guy who said that immigrants are poisoning the blood of this country. A guy who continues to question if Kamala is black. A party that won't even say her name right, which he gets into, right? And we call Trump a fascist, or he says things like Hitler. Oh my God, you guys are the reason that he almost got assassinated. This is insane. The right wing has made it so you can't even talk about this stuff. And you'll see Anderson Cooper here. He won't say what he probably really feels. And this is a big problem.
That was somebody like Colin Kaepernick takes a knee in this country. Everybody talks about, oh, that's so unpatriotic. But a guy can say he wants to terminate the Constitution to overthrow the results of an election, and nobody cares. And like even me bringing it up now, you brought it back to Kamala and Joe Rogan. Anderson?
Yeah.
Who gives a damn?
Well, I mean, I think you give a damn who's elected president, and I'm asking
that president is a fascist. That's talking about putting people in camps. That's talking about, once again, terminating the Constitution to overthrow the results.
Sorry to interrupt there, but quickly, I don't think Kamala should go on Joe Rogan's show. I think most of those voters are already firmly planted in voting for Trump. If they do go vote, I believe these guys are low propensity voters. And I have a theory, you guys let me know in the comments, that Trump voters aren't paying attention, or at least not as motivated as they were in 2016. And her appearance on Rogan could change that, right? Almost like a reminder is all I'm saying. Let me know what you guys think in the comments.
Of an election that's talking about, you know, jailing his political opponents. Like, that rhetoric doesn't scare people?
Well, we talk about this every single. This is what
I don't think
I've been talking about this every night.
I don't think y'all have enough conversations about it. I feel like I heard more on this network about is Kamala Harris black than I do about, you know, Donald Trump being a fascist. Well, am I wrong, Angela?
Honestly, that's bullshit. I'm sorry.
Oh, I like that.
I'm not. Look, I'm a huge fan of yours. Okay. But to say that we're sitting.
I like Anderson Cooper, but you'll see, even he tiptoes, right? And I think it's because this is the problem with mainstream media, right? These guys have, right? It's a company above them, and they have policies and procedures of things. And these guys want to play this kind of balance game to try to get right-wing people and left-wing people on their show. And I think they like them kind of fighting and get some good views. I think this is the reason why they won't just straight up say, shut up, you're a liar, we're done talking to you, and just cut things off right there.
Around discussing is Kamala Harris black? Like
I've seen that. I've seen those roundtable discussions a lot. Now that's bullshit, Anderson. For you to say that y'all don't have those conversations.
I've never asked somebody is.
Oh, I'm not saying Kamala you. I said the network.
He said the network.
I looked it up. There were panels talking about this a couple months ago, for sure.
I don't think anyone on. I don't think any anchor on this network has been going around saying, "Is she black?"
Y'all have never had a.
We have had. Look, I'm sure we have had, you know, nutty people or people who have strongly held beliefs who I may disagree with, who somewhere on some panel have said something, but I will just speak up for what I do on the show. I do believe it's important to get people different viewpoints as long as they're willing to have a legitimate conversation. What I don't like are surrogates who come out and just spout talking points that they don't even believe, and those are people I tried to eliminate from having ever on the air again.
I think no network has honest conversations about Donald Trump. Nobody's had honest conversations about Donald Trump since 2016. I saw last night they were talking about, the double standard that exists between Donald Trump and the vice president, but it's always a double standard with Trump, whether it's with Hillary, whether it's, against Biden, now with Kamala. We talk about him being a threat to democracy, but we don't treat him like one.
I don't know what you've been watching, but
yeah, that's true. They've been careful about calling him a fascist, and Trump and his right wing and all these MAGA idiots crying about, oh my God, it's because of the Democrats' rhetoric that they almost assassinated. They need to stop being so mean. And I think this kind of crap works. And not only that, when he says this abhorrently racist stuff, Dems and media has to work twice as hard to try to debunk this stuff. And then somehow they move the conversation to immigration, right? And it's just like, it's hard to keep up with these lies. I'm why isn't, actually, let's take a look at this clip, and why is this not shown on mainstream media constantly? Let's roll it.
Kamala, who is apparently black, she's up 41. And
what do you mean by apparently?
That's what they're telling us. We're supposed to believe she's black.
No,
and,
it's much better that, no. See, I would never say a thing like that. But you said, don't explain to what you mean. No, I don't want to put you in trouble.
Yeah, apparently. No. Well,
I was going to throw it onto your shoulders, apparently. Well, no, you could explain it because I understand.
I'm very comfortable explaining it because overnight, she's doing a show. She's supposed to be Indian. And then all of a sudden now it's black, but it's not landing with the average American.
Guys, I just want to show you this last segment here. It gets a little heated here. Not so much, but a little bit.
Answers.
All right.
We say things like, do you think Donald Trump is a fascist? I think we kind of got enough evidence to know that answer.
I'm not a pundit. I'm not interested. I don't think my opinion is particularly interesting for viewers out there. I'm interested in
I disagree.
Well, okay. You can
Guys, you see how he wouldn't answer the question? Why couldn't he just say it? Yeah, Trump's a fascist. He has fascist tendencies. He can't be trusted. He can't just say it. They, again, have to play this middle game. And I bet you behind closed doors or off camera, Anderson Cooper, of course, will say, yeah, this guy's, he's an absolute nut job. He cannot be in power again. He's a fascist. He's a wannabe dictator.
I
disagree with that too,
You quibble with it. But I believe in asking questions and probing people's arguments and trying to reveal people's arguments, what's true and what's not. And I'm not on MSNBC for a reason. I'm not on some other network for a reason. I'm on CNN because I want to talk to Republicans, I want to talk to Democrats, and I want to learn from them. I don't think I have the answers. I'm willing to change my mind. People can convince me of stuff all the time. I'm not I don't even know why I'm talking about myself. I don't even know what I'm talking about myself.
No, but Anderson,
but my point is,
I want to tell you this.
I think what we're doing here is important because I do think in this country where, you know what, I got so many, I don't look at comments about myself, but I
think Charlemagne is effective. You see, he's getting Anderson Cooper to kind of loosen up and, speak more about how he feels about this. Because, Anderson Cooper cares about his image too, right? And his personal image.
I was looking up some comments about my Grief podcast, and I came across this whole inundation from people who are Harris supporters saying to me online today, like, how dare you, what a betrayal that you would ask her these questions.
No,
and I'm like,
job.
You misunderstand what my job is. I'm not on MSNBC, and no disrespect, what they do is they're very talented. But I don't watch it. I'm not interested in watching what these overpaid blow-dried anchors think, and I include myself in that overpaid blow-dried, although I don't blow-dry. I am overpaid. But I'm not interested in the anchor's opinion. I'm interested in facts and letting the viewers make up their mind. So anyway, I'm sorry this devolved.
Yes, but the media, we all know, has a way of, swaying people to see things a certain way. Right? So why can't all these people, Rachel Maddow, Joe Scarborough, Mika Brzezinski, Anderson Cooper, Jake Tapper, just all out assault this guy's racist, fascist, sexist, and just constantly repeat, show the videos, show all the nasty things he's been saying. There's more than enough of it. Right? And it's not like you're lying. You're not doing anything other than showing what he says.
I like that you said that, but I will just say in this moment, some of what we're talking about tonight, Anderson, is not actually an opinion at all. It is just the facts. And you are one of the most trusted voices on television. And it is important in those moments where you know those conversations devolve into nonsense, particularly on the other side of the aisle. They're conspiracy theory. They won't even say her name right. That has to be checked in the moment, because that is what fascism looks like. That is how we start sliding down a very slippery slope, and we cannot afford to be here. The election is 12 days away, and this should not be even what is on the ballot, but democracy's on the line. That is not a partisan issue. It is the truth. And I think that's what's important for cable news networks in particular to be saying, whether you're on Fox, you're on CNN, or you're on MSNBC. For all of us, that is our responsibility and our patriotic duty.
And now that I know you can literally call bullshit, I want
literally.
And this is the thing. Trump is racist, fascist to the core. It's fundamental to who he is. And this is the thing about independent media, like on YouTube. For the most part, at least, you know, most channels, you're going to get their honesty. We're not beholden to anyone, right? There's no one paying me to say something or not say something. But, all right, I'll leave it there, guys. Please leave a comment. I usually read all of them. Please consider subscribing. If you got anything from this video, leave a like. All of it is appreciated. And I'll catch you in the next one.